teachers, good to see you back. In this lesson, I'm going to be talking about the news widget, the bookmarks widget, and the roll switch widget. But before I do that, I wanted to show you one thing that's cool about the content browser. I don't know if you've noticed, but in my lessons, you have to watch the video first, and then you go to the next item down. Some of you might have tried to click on the second item first, and it didn't allow you to do that. It told you that you actually have to complete the other items first. Let me show you how you set that. The reason why you might want to do it is you don't want students to go ahead and get to content before they've learned something or covered something. So you want to make sure that you have put certain restrictions on it. Now, you already have content posted. The other day, whenever I went in and posted some content, I did something about the water cycle. And if I click on the water cycle, I have a water cycle video, I have this item, and this item. Let's say I want them to go in that actual order. I don't want them to open this up and then go straight to the activity or something like that. I want them to force them to do this one first, then this one second, this one third, and this one fourth. If you don't add restrictions, they'll be able to go to any one they want in any order they want. So you want to be able to add those restrictions. So all you have to do to add those restrictions is click on the content browser. So click on that. It'll bring you to your content browser. You see those activities that you have right here. This is the first item that's there. I want them to be able to see it, so I'm not going to put any restrictions on that whatsoever. All right, so I'm going to have this one right here. I want them to be able to do this one second. So in that case, I'm going to click the little drop-down arrow and click Edit Properties in Place. Now, there's a couple things you can do with this. It says Add Dates and Restrictions and add a description. You don't really need to add a description. That's totally optional, but where all the magic happens, it's right here. Add dates and restrictions. So you click on that. I can add a start date, meaning if I put it on, say today is September 10th, and I want to have this material up here on September 12th. So I would add a start date of September 12th, meaning it would be there on your page already set up for you, and it won't appear until the 12th. I can also add a due date when it's due. I can also add an end date, meaning I'm going to give them from the 12th to the 15th to see this content. After that, I want it removed automatically. All right, I would add an end date. Now, it doesn't actually remove it from your view as the teacher. It removes it from the teacher's view. Another important information that you need to know is off to the side right over here where you see published. That means it's visible on my page right now. If I change that to draft, that means that item is not published, meaning it's not out there, nobody can see it. If I take this little arrow right here and talk about the water cycle, and this whole, if I want to make this whole science folder disappear, I can change it to draft if I wanted to. Okay, under the water cycle, I can do it by the individual items that are there. All right, so the video is going to be there, but say this item right here, if I change it and change it to draft, that means they can't see it. All right, now that we got that straight, let's talk about those release conditions allowing students to only go in a certain order that you want to. That's right down here where it says release conditions. You click create. All right, now it says condition type. First bunch of the things that you see right here we haven't gone over yet, so I can't really explain to you what they do yet because you don't know what they are. So I'll teach you that at a later time. But right here under content, you have two options, content topic visited and all content topics visited. This first one right here is the one that I want to use for this situation. If I have an item that's the very last thing I want them to complete and I want all the other items seen first, I would choose this one. All right. However, I'm going to probably be using this one more often. So I click on this content topic visited. I click on this and I say, okay, here's my water cycle thing. There's the video that I started off with. I want them to watch that first. And I go down to create, and I click create. So now that the conditions, all conditions must be met. All right, we're going to keep it at that. So in other words, they have to watch this water cycle video before they can get to this activity. I click update, and that is set. All right, now I want them to be able to do this one next. So I go here, and I'm going to choose that they have to complete this item before they complete this one. So I click this, do edit properties in place. I go down. I can add dates and restrictions. I go to my release conditions, set it down to content topic visited, click on water cycle because that's the second activity they had to complete before I want them to complete this one. So I click on that, go down to create, and I click update. And finally, I want them to do this one last. So I'm going to have this one as my content topic visited under this one. So I click that, click Edit Properties in Place. I go to Add Dates and Restrictions. I go to Create a Release Condition. I go to Content Topic Visited. I go to Water Cycle Close, because that's the one there. I go Create, and I do Update. Now what this does is it forces the student to watch this first, then it only allows them to go to this one second, and then it allows them to go to this one third, and then it allows them to go to this one fourth. So when they come here, and they go to my science, and they go to my water cycle, and they see these different items, they can't click on these yet until they actually click on that first. Then, after they watch that, they're allowed to click on that one. And after they watch that, they're allowed to click on that one. It forces them to go in a certain order, which is always helpful. We don't want our students rushing ahead. All right, let's get on to the main topics that we were talking about today, the news, the bookmarks, and the roll switch. Real simple. Okay, so on your home page, I asked you to put the content browser. That's definitely one of the things that you needed. But the other things that I mentioned was the news, the bookmarks, and the roll switch. All right, the news is this item right here. I don't have any news items right now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. Under News, you can click Create News Item or click on this, or once again, you go to the Edit Course and click on News there. But I'm just going to go from the easy part, click Create a News Item. Okay, my first news item. I'm just picking a headline that's going to appear. Hey everybody, I did it. Okay, so you can put in different stuff. You can actually go down here where it says availability, show start date, always show start date. If you uncheck that, it'll just put it without the start date. All right, you can choose what the start date is. If you change that date to a later date, it'll automatically pop up on that date at that time, and you can set news items ahead of time. All right, you can put an end date, meaning it will remove that news item, and so it'll be there until a certain time. You can also attach audio to it. If you have using your document camera or something, if you recorded a video or something, you can actually attach that to it. You can also attach a file to it where maybe the students need to open it. Once again, you can allow certain release conditions. All right, so once I do that, I click on Publish, or I can save it as a draft. Remember, it's not actually visible until I change it to Publish. So I'm going to go ahead and publish it and show you what happens. I click Publish. It's right here. Let's say later on I want to remove it. I click the little check box and click Delete. All right, but I don't want to do that yet. So I'm going to go back to my main page by clicking on the Home button up there, and now look, there's my first news item. Hey everybody, I did it. There it is. That's the post date. You can choose to have that there if you want. If not, you can remove it. So basically that's your news. You can post different news items right there. All right, let's go to the bookmarks. Bookmarks is real easy, real fast. Bookmarks are used anytime a student encounters, or even you encounters something that you want to see over and over, and you know you don't want to have to go into these folders and find it, and you're going to have it appear over here where you can click on it right away, then that's what bookmarks are used for. For example, let's say the student went in here under science, they went under water cycle, and they liked this activity right there, or they were going to have to refer back to it over and over. All you have to do to bookmark it, if you look at the top of the page, you see this right here, that's your little bookmark. So if you hover, it says Add Bookmark, I click it, it turns red. Now if I go to my home page again, you're going to see that activity is right there. I don't even have to fish through the folder right there. If I go back to this activity right here and I want to remove it from my bookmark, all you have to do is click on it again. And now if I go back to my home page, you'll see that it is gone. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is your roll switch. I always put it at the bottom, that way it's out of the way. Currently under mine, I'm the school admin, so I have different roles than you do. This roll switch, what it does, it allows you to see what exactly the student sees. Okay, so if I have this folder, and this folder unpublished, in fact, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go to my content browser, just show you how this works. I'm going to click on Math, and I'm going to change it to unpublished, or draft. I'm going to go to social studies, I'm going to change that to draft. So in reality, as a student, you would not be able to see this. Now right now, I'm the teacher of this page. When I still go back to my home page, I still see all those things. All right, but I am actually still in my role. If you want to see what a student sees, click on student. Okay, your choices right here might be a little different than mine since I have more options than you do. But if you change it to student and I click change role, notice science is only there. Those other folders are hidden because they're not published. This is what a student's view is. This is very helpful whenever you're setting up your pages and you want to make sure that it looks correctly for the students, that you can switch back and forth. Just don't forget, if you're having trouble, also up here in my nav bar, notice that I don't have edit course up here anymore because you don't want students to be able to edit your course without your permission. So therefore, they don't have access to those buttons. So this is exactly what a student would see. So that's why it's kind of important to add a role switch there. They can't role switch up to yours. They don't have rights to it. Even if they see role switch on their page, it doesn't allow them to change anything at all. They don't have those rights to do it. So now I want to be able to go back, and I'm going to go back to my role. And you'll see that I see all the folders there, even though these folders right here are not actually published. So that's the news, the bookmarks, and the role switch. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll be glad to help you out. And remember, you can always look at the document after the video, and it'll remind you of how to do the different things that I just showed you in case I was talking a little too fast. And have a great day.